Welcome to today's discussion regarding the culture of clean in the food service industry. My name is Misan Edwards, and I'm the Training and Capability Leader for P&G Pro's Technical Services Organization, and I will be your host today. Joining me are industry experts from the P&G Pro Technical Services Organization. We have Peggy Yamas and Mark Villarreal, who are customer success and training specialists. We also have Lori Cook, who is a training development and system specialist. Welcome, Peggy, Mark, and Lori.
Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you guys.
Yeah, thanks for letting us join.
Well, I wanted to begin today's discussion by sharing a personal experience and then a question. I had a customer one day come to me and say, we know that with Procter & Gamble, we have the very best products. We have the best cleaning procedures, equipment, training, support, and service. But our restaurants are not clean. What can you do? Can you put together some type of presentation for our Train the Trainers that will help us get to that cleanliness and hygiene that we want? So if I were to ask you the question, what is standing in their way? If they have the best of everything, why aren't they clean? Peggy, with your experience, what would you say?
Let's say time, the time to actually clean and also to train the people on how to clean.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We could all use more time. Mark, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think also turnover and staffing issues.
Yeah, that's a big one, right? Turnover in the industry can be quite large. So, yeah, you guys are both correct. And then I would add just one more. And this is a concept called the culture of clean. Okay. So, what is culture of clean? Culture of clean refers to an environment where cleanliness, organization, and hygiene are ingrained in the daily practices and mindset of individuals. It is especially important in food service. So, how do we help food service establishments understand and commit to creating a positive cleaning culture? To help answer this question, I researched, and I want to give credit to the industry content on the subject. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I also leaned on my personal experience of 38 years in the food service industry. So today we'll review a list of 10 golden nuggets or key components in establishing a culture of clean. So let's begin with the first nugget, leadership commitment. It all begins at the top. Leaders set the tone by demonstrating a commitment to cleanliness. Leaders are in positions to provide resources, set expectations, and lead by example. Leaders also show active involvement in training, setting policies, and ensuring that cleanliness is an important priority. So, Peggy, please share an example of a food service environment where leaders show personal commitment.
During a large customer rollout, we were doing next day training. It was nice when the managers were attentive and engaged during the demos. When managers are open to being trained and learning new methods that may be different from the way they have always done it, with a positive attitude, they're leading by example and making the environment more conducive for learning new procedures and products. Their old way may have been good, but they are willing to try a different way that may end up saving time and provide better results. And time is money.
Absolutely, it's bottom line. Thank you, Peggy. Once leadership sets the tone and the vision, the next action needed is training and development for team leaders. Training is not a one-time event, but training needs to occur regularly. Cleanliness and hygiene standards are required at all times. Education is also needed on how to perform proper cleaning techniques, understand the importance of cleanliness and how it impacts health and safety. Also, team members need to know how to use cleaning tools, cleaning products, and how to follow proper procedures. Lori, what are some of the best in class training methods used in the industry today?
Good question, Misa. today, P&G uses an industry standard of best-in-class training by utilizing websites and videos linked to QR codes. We call this on-demand training. On-demand training allows both of our customers and the P&G employee to leverage the same resources for training. So from the beginning of a customer relationship and beyond, we have the same training we're using. These resources have recommendations from P&G R&D, which helps us leverage an effective balance by using the right way to clean so that we save on manpower and time. That was something that was brought up earlier in our discussion. It's hard to find time to train, and so these resources help with that. And when our customers effectively learn to use on-demand QR codes and they have access right away, they're able to quickly hurdle other challenges like the high employee turnover that Mark brought out earlier, or employees that need refresher training. And I think it might be a good point to note that historically training aids didn't have these video links. And so it meant that customers would often have to rely on, tribal knowledge or past training experience that they may have had. So again, by using this on-demand training program, the best-in-class program, we're significantly working together with our customers to support that culture of clean.
Thank you, Lori. On-demand training, training when the customer needs it in the moment. Thank you. The third nugget in establishing a culture of clean is to have well-documented, standardized procedures, which should be put into place to ensure consistency and effectiveness. There should be clear schedules for cleaning tasks and proper documentation of completed activities. An example would be cleaning logs. Priority areas such as high-touch surfaces, restrooms, and equipment should have established guidelines. So, Mark, how does P&G Pro help with standardized procedures?
Yeah, so each of our customers have a procedures binder that is catered to their specific operation. This includes step-by-step instructions on how to complete each cleaning task within their facility. Many of these procedures include a QR code that takes you to a short video outlining each step of the cleaning process, and this can be used as a valuable training tool for our customers.
Yeah, what would we do without QR codes today, right? Next nugget is ownership and accountability. Each team member should be clear on their role and their responsibilities. There should be regular audits and checks to ensure that cleaning standards are being met. Each employee needs to take ownership for his or her space and the overall cleanliness of a food service environment. Peggy, what are some ways that employees can be encouraged to take personal ownership?
Leading by example and inspecting what you expect says it all to me. A leader is willing to get their hands dirty to show proper techniques and establish expectations. Once the expectations have been set, they need to spot check to make sure the training was effective and being followed. Words of encouragement go a long way. Telling someone they did a great job encourages them to continue and take pride in what they're doing. Being able to deliver constructive criticism is also a needed skill when coaching and retraining employees.
Absolutely. And we know that coaching and retraining never ends. Another nugget is sustainability and maintenance. We've already mentioned that cleaning is a repetitive process. A culture of clean is not just about an immediate cleaning task, but more about maintaining cleanliness over time. Also, regular maintenance of equipment is key. Tools and cleaning supplies ensures that they're functioning properly. Lori, can you please describe some of the unacceptable and acceptable conditions?
Yeah, that's a great question, Misan. And I have a couple points I'd like to highlight. A first acceptable condition or acceptable practice is making sure you follow through with the frequency of cleaning. An unacceptable practice is that what can happen is that an individual may develop their own cleaning process and their own cleaning frequency that can cause poor results. For example, I've been in locations where deck brushing the floors in, for example, a food production area is recommended at least weekly. But in order to save time, um, an employee may opt for something what they think is quicker, something self-created method. And they may damp mop and they may create their own solution of just mixing a little floor cleaner with some degreaser that's not meant for the floor, or just using degreaser and deck. And then instead of deck brushing, again, they're just using this method of mopping with that. So what appears to save a few minutes initially can quickly become a big issue where the floors require multiple restorative deck brushing treatments to remove this degreaser that wasn't meant for the floor and all the soils that it attracted to that floor. So, and it could also cause potentially another unacceptable issue, which would be like slippery floors or sticky floors. And that's all going back to the idea of someone just creating their own cleaning process, which is unacceptable. Another point to think about, um, we all know we need cleaning tools, so that's acceptable. Good cleaning tools is what we need. But an unacceptable problem could be that you need to throw them out, or the lifespan of these cleaning tools have they're just worn out. And so we need to kind of think about that. For example, again, I've used deck brushes that required a lot of manual power to use them. They could have been new and they just were hard to use. They didn't clean as well. So when I want a cleaning tool, I want something that's hard wearing, designed for deep cleaning, doesn't damage surfaces or equipment. And so, for example, we at P&G, we recommend R&D tested cleaning tools. We test them in our field kitchen, and we offer them at pgprosupplies.com. So you're welcome to go there and look at our deck brushes, look at our mop heads that are really designed for the person who's doing the cleaning. And but we also understand that you may have per management a requirement to order what you need through your distributor, and that's okay. We just want you to know that P&G offers solutions because we want you to have a culture of clean, and we want you to be able to sustain the cleaning practices and have the best looking locations.
Thank you, Lori. And over time, absolutely, following these practices will make the job easier for everyone, and the customer will like it better. Let's move on to nugget 6, which is communication and collaboration. There should be an open line of communication between staff and leadership about cleanliness, concerns, and suggestions for improvements. There should be a continuous feedback and improvement process. There should also be a culture of respect where everyone works together to keep the environment clean. Mark, please share an example of the importance of respect between staff members.
Yeah, well, this is a situation that actually I've seen quite often in customers' restaurants, whereas you'll have a day shift dishwasher and an evening dishwasher. The day shift dishwasher keeps his or her area clean, well maintained, and ready for business throughout the day. When the evening shift arrives, the same standards are not applied and the area is not kept as clean. At the end of the evening shift, the dish room is really a bit of a mess. And then that transfers to the next morning when the same individual that left a clean and organized space the afternoon before walks into a mess. So this is frustrating. It shows a lack of respect and definitely will kill morale. The best solution is to have a team that will work together to meet the common goal of clean.
Really good. Thank you, Mark. Absolutely. I don't think I would like to walk in the morning to see a mess after I clean that up. We're going to move on to the next nugget. And just like staying in good physical condition requires consistent workouts and concentrated efforts, a culture of clean is maintained through continuous vigilance, not just occasional cleaning spurts. Cleanliness must be maintained throughout the day, not just at scheduled times. Also, regular inspections, spot checks, and follow up should be made to avoid slip ups in cleanliness. Peggy, what happens when regular inspections and spot checks are missed?
Some people will get in the habit of rushing through a task or taking shortcuts if they're not monitored. Then they get out of the habit of keeping their environment clean, necessitating a deep clean to get back on track. I was instilled at an early age with a couple of catchy sayings. Don't pass it up, pick it up. And if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. These mantras are always going through my head as an adult, and if I see something that needs to be cleaned, I don't wait to be told.
Thank you. And I bet you've instilled the same in your children, right? In their head.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the eighth nugget, which is visible cleanliness. Everyone should be able to see and notice how clean a food service environment is because the look of the food service environment provides a positive experience for customers and staff members. High standards of cleanliness should be posted in common areas like restrooms, workspaces, and external areas too. So, Lori, how does visible cleanliness affect where you personally spend your food service dollars?
And thanks for that question, Misan. I think no matter what the environment, when we have a choice to how to spend our money, we want the best value we can get. One of my P&G R&D mentors, Dr. Juan Goncalves, has taught me the value of reading product labels because not all cleaners, sanitizers, disinfectants offer the same claims, and understanding this can save time and money. He's also taught me that the P&G products are designed specifically for effective soil removal, while at the same time being compatible with various surfaces and types of soils that come in a food service environment. For example, a competitor product may claim a fast kill time for, let's say, a virus, but they often don't have anything they fall short with the grease cleaning effectiveness or the cleaning side of what you hope a chemical does. So often labels require a pre-cleaning step, which might also mean a second product. This is costing you more money to need two cleaners. And this is something that competitors don't always make clear, but P&G tries to be very clear about that and design products that often do clean or sanitize or clean or disinfect, and our procedures indicate what that is.
Thank you, Lori. And Dr. Juan is right on. I'm going to just take my P&G hat off for a second and put my parent hat on. I remember when my children were young and we would go on road trips on vacation, we would have to occasionally stop, a pit stop at a restaurant. And if we walked in and the restaurant was a mess, we would get back in our cars and go until we found a clean restaurant. And so, then we'd go to the restroom and then spend our dollars there too. So even though P&G does the science behind it, I mean, we can validate all of that. Just that visual meant a lot to a family. So thank you, Lori. Really appreciate that. Let's go on to nugget number 9, which is employee engagement and pride. Employees should feel pride in maintaining a clean environment. They should also understand how their actions contribute to a healthier and safer environment. This could also be a special recognition to who demonstrates exceptional cleanliness and brings culture of clean to life. Mark, can you share an example of an employee recognition for contributing to a culture of clean?
Sure, I think, one thing, I've been to restaurants that proudly display their latest health department inspection scores front and center for the customer to see. So I think this is an example of all employees at the restaurant working together to achieve a common goal. They're proud to display their team's achievement, and in turn, the customer can feel a sense of safety in knowing that where they're about to eat is an establishment that upholds the highest food safety standards.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. I know that I look for that sign too. All right. The final nugget in culture of clean is a focus on health and safety. You know, there's huge connection between cleanliness and health. So it makes sense that a clean environment reduces the spread of germs, illness, and infections. And it's wise to ensure that hygiene standards are met, or better yet, they exceed the public health regulations, especially in areas that are at high risk for contamination. Peggy, what risks do food service establishments take when they do not focus on health and safety?
They take the risk of making someone ill and developing a bad reputation. As a ServSafe instructor, I have learned a lot about what it takes to keep a food service establishment in good standing and keeping the public, as well as their employees, safe, healthy, and happy.
Yes, happy. That's a great note to come to a conclusion. So I'd like to wrap up with just a few bonus nuggets from our experts. And we're going to start with Lori, Peggy, and then go to Mark. And the question that I would ask is, what would be some words of wisdom that you could share from your experience with the food service industry culture of clean? Lori?
Yeah, I would suggest for all of our operators out there and trainers, set aside time to review the training materials, these on-demand videos, and see what's relevant to your current goals. Remember, consistency in using training will help everyone stay on the page. So we have to keep trying to do it and keep practicing.
Thank you, Lori. Peggy?
I agree with Lori. Training is key, and making a habit by positive reinforcement is a great way to pull a team together and strive for a common goal. One team, one dream will be evident to customers, bringing them back again and again.
Thanks, Peggy. And Mark, can you round this up for
Yeah,
us?
so finally, I think we should make it a priority to offer training to a staff member every time we visit one of our customers' facilities. This could be something simple as showing a new employee how to test sanitizer or how to access our just-in-time training wall chart to see the training videos. Sometimes even the smallest of our efforts can pay big dividends to this customer.
All right, that was great advice. And I want to give a special thank you to our guest experts, Lori, Peggy, and Mark. We really appreciate you for taking your time to join us today. And to our listening audience, thank you for tuning in to our discussion entitled The Culture of Clean. So here are the final parting words. By focusing on cleanliness, a food service establishment will continue to build and maintain a strong culture of clean. This will improve the health, productivity, and morale of team members and provide safety and satisfaction for guests. So thank you again, and tuning out, Misan Edwards from the P&G Pro Training and Capability Team.